I want you to picture yourself in this scenario. Someone approaches you, their face showing that they're eager for your guidance. This person asks you the simple question, is anime worth getting into? What would your answer be? I'll tell you what my answer is. Anime is a medium used to depict stories that can't be portrayed in real life. Anime pulls you inside vast, faraway worlds where the only limit is imagination. The number of genres and types of stories that can be told through this medium are endless. Of course, anime is worth Watch out! Everyone has been through a phase in their weeaboo lifespan where they only watch a show from a specific genre. Typically, this occurs in the beginning of our weeb lifespan where we're just starting to get into anime as mere weeblets, and typically this genre is shonen. There's nothing to be ashamed of. You're totally justified in doing so. Maybe you've just discovered shonen and the genre seems brand new and interesting for you. Or maybe you're well versed in the genre and enjoy the familiarity of it, as starting a new show with a totally different genre is too intimidating for you. I went through a similar phase during my early years of anime. My Hero Academia is by far not the first anime I've seen, but it holds a special place in my heart for being my awakening anime. The anime that got me into anime. It made me realize that I want more stories told through this medium. In this style, I want more anime. I want slice of life / romance anime. Yep, this was my early phase. Whole days would be spent on my bed watching these animes and funny Kabedon moments compilations so I could find more to watch. Before falling down the rabbit hole, I thought this genre was only meant for lonely beta males who are cowardly looking for an escape from their sad reality. And after falling down the rabbit hole, I was right. On a more serious note, there are 3 fundamental issues I found with this genre. I can't stop watching slice of life / romance anime. They've classified it as a disorder. While I don't watch nearly as much as I used to, I still manage, I should talk to someone about this, to squeeze in a good new slice of life or romance anime into my seasonal watching schedule. Needless to say, I know my way around this side of anime. Because of this, one such subgenre I'm also very familiar with is the harem genre, and one such show that does it best is the quintessential quintuplets. Sorry, I only just got to the topic of the video now, but the intro was necessary. Okay, the best is an exaggeration, but I need you to click on the video somehow. To put it simply, I'll be dividing this into 2 different categories I think every harem anime should get right, from which we will talk about the show from. And I'll try to keep manga spoilers at a minimum so it'll be friendly to anime onlys. Without further ado, as a self-diagnosed man of culture, let me tell you why quintuplets is very good, basically. There are 2 types of harem anime connoisseurs. The first group of people are the ones who insert themselves into the show through imagining themselves as the MC, and the second group of people just want to watch a dude get with 8 chicks. I belong in the latter group, but no shame on people who are in the first. I have definitely had moments myself where I thought, God, I wish I was there. A good harem MC should be able to appease both types of people. The greatest honor I can bestow upon this kind of protagonist is if I can remember their name, and that's exactly the case for Futaro Uesugi. His character strikes the perfect balance where his personality is compelling and entertaining enough that someone like me is intrigued and motivated to see where Futaro goes, and he's relatable enough that anyone can see themselves in his shoes. Futaro was once a delinquent when he was younger, doing nothing but lazing around and causing trouble, but after the death of his mother left his family in poverty and with a newborn baby sister to take care of, Futaro realizes all this faffing around ain't gonna cut it, and he decides to wise up. He drops the delinquent act and focuses all his time and energy into his studies, eventually excelling by achieving a 100% grade on all his subjects in the hopes that this will be able to help him qualify for a well-paying job so he can support his family. Lo and behold, a job opportunity arises where Futaro is tasked with tutoring a rich businessman's quintuplet daughters for like 100 yen. I don't know how yens work. A big amount of yen, and Futaro accepts. Did you hear what I just said? Most harem protagonists end up in the situation they're in through some miracle or happy accident, while Futaro needed to put in effort and hard work just to meet his 5 lovely ladies. Oh, but Teski, all that work was just to get him in position. After that, the girls fall for him instantly for no reason. Wrong! At first, one of the girls even tries to convince Futaro to quit his job because he's obstructing the nice familial bonds the sisters have with each other. Futaro needs to put in more work and effort to prove to the girls that he's not a threat and that he can genuinely help them improve their grades, and it's not an easy task. Of course, he was doing so through selfish reasons at first, because no job means no money, but through their shared understanding of the importance of family, he starts to care for them and form relationships with them, which leads to him supporting the girls in their individual dreams and ambitions outside of academics. This development is also executed really nicely, leading to none of the kind acts he does feel forced, awkward, or out of place, because I've seen many cases where a harem MC does absolutely nothing for 98% of the show and then out of nowhere, all this adds a nice touch of realism to the show. Not too much. If it was too realistic, the harem genre wouldn't exist, because 5 girls falling in love with you? Come on. Come on. People don't just fall in love with each other instantly. It's gradual, a process that requires both parties to do something to achieve it. Oddly enough, I think this realism helps in imagining yourself as Futaro. While I can't speak from experience, I'm certain that the feeling you get from gaining the love of these 5 lasses is infinitely more satisfying and gratifying knowing that you earned it through some amount of effort in your fantasies. One last thing. Futaro isn't an ugly guy. When he actually puts in the time to groom himself, he looks pretty good. Aw, damn. Okay, maybe you might not have as drastic an appearance change as that, but you'd be surprised how much just taking care of yourself and making yourself look presentable changes the way others view you. So, there's a little motivation for you. The second thing that a harem anime has to get right is the most important. The girls. I want you to take a look at the girls this show offers and tell me what you see based on appearance alone. Well, the first thing to note is that all of these girls look like their age is past a single-digit number. -8 points, I get it. No lollies? Pfft, huge downgrade. But I promise you that there is still a lot to love about these characters if you look past the fact that they're fertile. The biggest praise I have for these girls is that they don't follow standard tropes. It's clear they're heavily influenced by them. This one's the shy type, this is an ara-ara Onei-san, Genki idiot, this one's tsundere, not really. Putting poison in the MC's drink fits the description of a classic sadistic psycho thought theory better. And this one's vanilla. At the start of the series, they definitely were just standard trope characters, but it was needed to attract the attention of the audience. Once the viewers were familiar with the girls, the series decides to go deeper into each of their characters, exploring their more complex personality traits and the goals they want to achieve in life. This makes the girls go beyond the standard tropes they were based on, and just like the MC, makes each girl hit that perfect amount of realism. People are way more complex beneath what they show to everyone else, and no matter how well you know someone, you'll probably never reach a point where you know everything about them. This realism leads us to our next point. None of these girls are stupid. Let's say you're struggling to get good grades at school, so your dad kindly hires a tutor to help you. How would you feel about or treat this tutor? Well, naturally, you'd feel like he's a tutor, and you treat him like he's a tutor. You don't fall in love instantly, because that would be the stupid thing to do. Only after they get to know each other and the relationships deepen do the feelings emerge. And only after the MC does nice things do the feelings strengthen. And these nice things are genuine nice things, not the harem anime kind of nice things, you know what I mean? Like living your life as a slave, being treated lower than an animal by the people around you, and finally, your knight in shining armor has come to save you by buying you? And now you're in love with him, cause Futaro does nice things like helping out where you work, supporting your acting career, and need I mention tutoring you? Of course they'd fall in love. It'd be stupid not to. Not only that, but after they fall in love, they continue to put in the effort to pursue a relationship with the MC by making themselves look more appealing or by doing nice things back to him. This also eliminates some other tropes as well, such as when the main character walks into the room while the girl is changing and he gets beat up for a genuine mistake. If anything, the viewer should get beat up because that's what we're here for, right fellas? Instead, the girl realizes her mistake, gets flustered, and closes the door, because socking Futaro in the face for something out of his control would make him hate you. Or when the girl confesses but the MC didn't hear because of fireworks, or him falling asleep. I love you. Sorry, what was that? I love you, bro! So much work was put in to progress these girls beyond just standard trope characters, and each one was executed so well. It's gotten to the point where I can't even choose best girl, and even if I had, I wouldn't care about which one ends up with Futaro. I'm fine with all options. And while I don't have a problem with harem anime where the winner is obvious, I think it adds to the thrill if you can't figure it out, and trust me, you'll never guess who Futaro ends up with. Even if you think you know, you're wrong. Alright, we've reached the end, and just before we finish up, I want to get a couple of things out of the way that I forgot to mention earlier or didn't fit into any of the previous sections. Tropes are present in the show, but they're done really well. An example is when Futaro comes into the room while one of the quintuplets, which she couldn't identify because they all looked the same and she was covering her hair, hadn't changed into her clothes yet, got embarrassed, called him a pervert, and threw some paper bag at him which did like 0 damage. It's a lot more realistic take and very tame compared to other stuff. 2. Most of the tropes I've been bashing on are heavily associated with tsunderes, which could lead some of you to believe I hate tsunderes. That's incorrect and insulting. I'm a man of varied tastes and do not discriminate, but just like anything, there's a limit when tsunderes are done right. 3. We aren't just told Futaro is smart, we're shown it. After the whole throwback pervert thing, Futaro was a little annoyed, and he has the right to be, so he just wants to know who did it. That's reasonable. And when no one fesses up, he does this super smart plan to figure out who it is and succeeds. He's also shown to have been suspecting that some of the girls have feelings for him because after the way they've been acting around him for all this time, he'd be beyond stupid to still think nothing was going on. I just wanted to illustrate further the consistency of this character, as consistency is the one thing missing most often with harem protagonists these days. And finally, after all I've said, it's still a harem anime. Don't come in expecting Breaking Bad. Okay, we're done. And just to clarify again, quintuplets is probably not the best, but it's really good at what it does. While most harem anime are good in one category or do enough to pass both, quintuplets not only passes, but excels in both categories. If I had to pick some flaws, it would be that Itsuki is probably the least interesting out of them all, but she wasn't bad in any way. And 4 best girls and 1 second best girl, you gotta be tripping if you think that's not a solid deal considering the low bar this genre has set. Read the manga, watch the anime, or do both in whatever order you want, but just know that by watching the anime you're missing out on some killer art, and by reading the manga you're missing out on some great voices. My favorites are Yotsuba and Ichika, Miko, Itsuki, Nino, and Futaro. The vocal performances in the anime are really nice. Whatever, check it out. Season 2's airing and it's hot.